We are live. Oh, I am live. Happy Saturday night, everybody. Stephen Muehlhausen here, formerly from Sporting News and DAZN, and no Daryl Rivera this evening. I am riding it solo for the evening, so I am going to be your party host. I don't have the hat, though. I do greatly apologize for not having the hat. It's Saturday night. It's 10:17 Central Time, and the evening in combat sports in the world of entertainment is done. The UFC had a show. We'll recap that a little bit later on the show. We have a new flyweight champion. The flyweight division is going to make it. It's going to survive. We'll go over that. But first, later on, we'll also talk about Extreme Rules. Yes, WWE, the horror show at Extreme Rules will be taking place tomorrow night at the Performance Center. We'll get into that shenanigans and the ratings. Not good for SmackDown. A bad week overall for WWE in terms of the ratings. So we will talk about that and a whole lot more. But I did something tonight I haven't done in a very long time. And we'll get into that. Oh, I ruined it. But we'll get into that in a moment. But let's do a little bit of housekeeping first. And everyone's already liking the page. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the page, like the post, and also leave questions and comments on the page. And please subscribe. The subscribers are going up for the podcast. So please, we're over 1,000. I want to get to 1,100 by the end of July. So let's rock and roll. We still got a couple weeks to go. So let's rock and roll with that. If you're watching on Facebook, like the post, like whoever did, thank you so much. Like the post, follow the page, like the page. We're 2 away from 1,000. 1,000. I want to get to that number. I have faith in all of you that we can get to that magical, mythical 1,000. So let's definitely get there. We'll talk about that. And then you can follow us on Twitter at WalkwayFight. Again, this podcast will also be available in audio form. So if you can't listen to the whole thing, it'll be available on audio first thing tomorrow morning. I'm going to chop it up, and then it will be available for all you guys starting tomorrow. But I did something tonight that I have not done in a very long time. I watched an Impact Wrestling pay-per-view. I know. I was like sitting there thinking about it, and I've been watching this show, and I just don't really post about it too much. As for some of you who don't know, I got some time on my hands now with not being with DAZN and Sporting News right now, so I got a little bit of time on my hands. So I've been doing that, but I've been watching Impact. Unfortunately, watching Raw, watching NXT, watching AEW, watching SmackDown, and Impact's really caught my attention the last 6 weeks. And then you start, as everyone does, we hear the rumblings of what's going on in the company. Tessa Blanchard gets stripped of the belt. And then they were talking about, that's going to be a 4-way for the title. And all these people that are going to be allegedly debuting for Impact. And with all the releases, the non-competes ending with the people released from WWE, the question was, who was going to show up? Names did show up. A lot of names showed up, and everyone that's bouncing in already, thank you so much. It really means a lot. Like the page. If you're watching on Facebook, like the page, like the post. Follow the page as well. We're a couple away from 1,000, so let's get there. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the page, like it as well, because it helps me out so much if you guys do that. Thank you so much for everyone that will do that. But Impact presented to me their second biggest pay-per-view of the year, Slammiversary. It took place in Tennessee. Now, before we get to in a lot of debuts we saw tonight, some WWE guys, the guys we expected. So we'll get into that. We have a couple new champions. We have a new Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion. We have a new X Division Champion, and we have a new Knockouts Champion. Deonna Purrazzo won the Knockouts Championship. Eddie Edwards is the new Impact Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, and Chris Bay beat Willie Mack to become the X Division World Champion. We saw debuts. Heath Slater debuted. He came out after the second match, cut a promo. the production work, and we'll get into that in a moment. And Heath Slater came in, he cut a pretty good promo. I like the shirt, the free agent thing. I think is pretty nifty. I'm a fan of that. I thought Heath cut a very good promo. I couldn't catch the cat's name he was talking to though. So if someone wants to drop me that line, put it in the comments section. If you got any questions, comments, feel free to leave them. We're gonna sit here. I'm gonna have some fun. So we'll get into that. But Heath Slater didn't make his debut. Looked really good, and that's the one thing I already like about Heath Slater. He's taking this seriously, because you get some guys, they leave WWE and it's a horror show, more or less. They don't take it seriously. It's like, oh, I'm here, I'm somewhere else, I really don't care. Okay. And that's like always so bothersome to me, is the fact that you get some of these guys leaving WWE for whatever the circumstances, and they don't take this seriously. Thankfully, we got some people that do, and he was definitely one of them. So it's always good to see something like this. I thought Heath Slater cut a good promo. He got reunited with Rhino in the back. Scott D'Amore's like, you don't even, because Slater's like, I'm going to be in the main event at the end of the show. I want to be the world champion. And Scott D'Amore, one of the higher ups in the company, is like, yeah, you two are cool, but with social distancing, you're not even signed to the company. You got to go. So it seems like, and Rhino said, I'll take care of it. Come on Tuesday, the Impact, and we'll get it taken care of. So it'll be interesting to see if we see. It seems like they're going to put Slater and Rhino together, which I'm definitely a fan of. Hey, sign me up for that. I think that's pretty cool. Just because of what they were on SmackDown, former tag team champions. They're really, really good friends. So I think that's really good to see, at least on that end. So I thought that was fantastic with Heath Slater. I want to see him in a singles run. I didn't want to see him immediately in a tag team, but if you're going to do the tag team situation, I guess you can do it. If you're going to do it, you do it with Rhino. Just for that reason only. And we saw at the beginning of the show, we saw the Motor City Machine Guns return. I thought that was really cool. And in my opinion, that was the best match on the show. And we'll get into them and the Rascals. I thought that match was really good. That was the best match on the show until the main event. I thought the main event was fantastic. But no, I thought the way they used Heath Slater, I thought was well done. We did see, yes, and it was later on. People are wondering, okay, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, when were the Good Brothers? When were they going to come out? And that was kind of like the thing. They announced at midnight last night that they had signed with Impact, and that had been reported by Gary Cassidy of Sportskeeda a while back, near the end of June. And it was pretty widely known that's where they were going to go pretty much right away. And they debuted at the end of the show as Eddie Edwards won what became a fatal five-way, as it was between Eddie Edwards, Ace Austin, Trey Miguel, and the mystery guy, as Tessa Blanchard was stripped of the title. And out and behold came Rich Swann. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, GTFHO, get the fuck out of here. I was done. I was a little, like, I loved the knockouts match, and I was kind of, the tag title match, I was like, and then I'm like, okay, who's going to be the mystery guy? I'm thinking EC3, maybe we get some Bully Ray, and we get Rich Swann. I was ready to throw my bottle of water at my 60-inch TV. And I'm like, why? I like Rich, and this is not a knock on Rich Swann. I like Rich Swann's a hell of a talent. I don't want to take nothing away from Rich. But all this hype, who's going to be the fourth guy? And you have all these packages of EC3 and Eric Young and Mike Bennett, Maria. You got Bully Ray, Sting, Kurt Angle. You're thinking, okay, as a fan, because let's remember this at the beginning. At the end of the day, guys, we're fans. I got into this because I'm a fan first. Then came all the cool stuff with Bleacher Report, and then Sporting News and DAZN. So and even now trying to navigate these waters, I'm still a fan. My attention maybe goes in a couple different ways these days. Just because it's like, what's catching my attention in wrestling? This show caught my attention. And I'm like, man, who's it going to be? They're running, maybe Tessa's re-signed and it's a big swerve and she's going to come out and she's going to win the belt. And I get Rich bleeping Swann. Talk about massive disappointment. Rich Swann. I'm not kidding. Wanted to cry. So you're thinking the match is going to start. And then comes the former Impact World Champion. They promised a former world champion, Eric Young. Now, I'm not going to sit here and sandbag Eric Young. I know there's people that want to. I don't want to. I don't want to do that. But I was like, Eric Young, another one. And this isn't I know I'm sitting here, I'm going to knock TNA. I'm going to knock Impact. Stacey Sparkles Roland. Don't take it out on the TV. Stacey, I almost did it again. I like the middle name, by the way. Sparkles. That's your middle name. That's pretty cool. Then I'm like, and I like Eric. But when you come out and you hype all these surprises, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. And you get Rich Swann, and the big return is Eric Young. And I like Eric. But I'm thinking maybe any of those guys I mentioned. Maybe Tessa. But then we get that. Don't get me wrong, Eric Young looked great in the match. I like the look. I like the shaved head. But I'm just like, I wanted to cry. I was sad. I was disappointed. And this isn't a knock on Eric Young and Rich Swann. And I'm like, so for about 5 minutes, I'm like, this ain't going to do it. $39.95 out the window. I'm sitting there shaking my head, rocking my 1-year-old to sleep, and he's knocked out to the wind. And thank God he was, because he did not want to see the look on my face. But to my surprise, the match was really damn good. Hey, I will call a spade a spade. That main event was freaking awesome. That's a testament to all 5 guys. And I love Ace Austin. I think Ace Austin can be a stud. He's a stud already. Trey Miguel, I still think of him as part of the Rascals, but Ace Austin, just something about him exudes star. I get excited when I see Ace Austin. Especially you got Madman Fulton. That dude, that's a bad dude. And it got a lot of people bouncing in and out here. We're going to do a little bit of a segue here. Everyone bouncing in and out. Thank you, everyone, so much. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, click like the video, and please subscribe. If you're watching on Facebook, just like we already got a couple likes, like the post, like the page, and also follow as well. We're almost at 1,000 follows and 1,000 likes. Almost there. So please do that. That would be greatly appreciated. Keep leaving those questions and comments. I got a couple to read. So thank you everyone so much. It really does mean a lot, and it is greatly appreciated. But the match was an elimination match. So I thought that was even cooler. And I'm like, they didn't promote this. I'm like, all right, cool. Okay. That was a banger. That was fun. Yeah, was it the big star-studded main event? No. But you know what? You know what Impact did? You know what those 5 guys did? They told a great story. Got some stories intertwined. And they saw a lot of good athleticism from Miguel from Trey Miguel and from Ace Austin, and Eddie Edwards is still a stud. God, I've been a fan of Eddie Edwards forever. And then just that good storytelling from Rich Swann and Eric Young bleeding. I'm like, oh man, you had me. A great ass main event. A testament to all five guys. A job well done. You had Miguel eliminated first. Then you had Eric Young. And then you had Rich Swann. I thought the way Young attack beat up Swann, selling the injury. Kudos. Job well done there. I thought that little story was well done. I would like to see that feud. I think that would be pretty cool. And then it came down to Edwards and Austin. And then you're thinking, it's going to be Ace Austin. Kid's 23. He's got good charisma about him. He's got a good presence. He's got the muscle behind him in Man Fulton. But they went with Eddie Edwards. And I'm like, okay. I was a little surprised. And I'm thinking, what is the reason you went with Eddie Edwards, who is now a 2-time Impact Heavyweight Champion? So then you got Fulton come in, beat up Edwards, get the heat right back, which I thought was pretty good. And Austin's beating on him, and here comes the debuting of the Good Brothers. Gallows and Anderson come out feeling like they're gonna align with Fulton and Austin. They take care of them. A magic killer on Ace Austin. They're drinking some talking shop beers. And poor Gallows, he had a rough couple minutes. He almost tripped walking down the ramp, dropped the beer, and then, but he recovered. You can't drop a good beer. How do you drop beer, guys? Come on. I don't care what beer, unless it's like Ice House. Then you're like, okay. But I'll give it a pass. But no, they had a lot of fun. And then Edwards is celebrating at the turnbuckle, and you're thinking, man, where's EC3? Where's Bully Ray? It can't be just Eddie Edwards. Then it goes to Black. It has the 3 slashes, and then I thought a really cool thing. He had the back to you, and you're thinking, okay. Throws something against the screen, it shatters, turns around, and it's EC3. And then the screen goes to black. We get the fade out, the Impact Wrestling sign, the logo, it fades out, and that is it. So it seems like the program, it will be Eddie Edwards' first title defense will be against EC3, the former Ethan Carter III, and I love it. I thought that was a good way to end the show. You got the fans talking. You got a new heavyweight champion. You got a debut of your high-profile tag team. In my mind, still one of the best tag teams in the world. You establish your tag division. You have a placeholder champion, and then you're going to go into a program with Eddie Edwards and EC3. I don't have no problem with that. Talk about vastly underused. Vastly underused Ethan Carter, EC3. Very, very disappointing run in NXT. Seemed like he was getting a little bit of momentum, came to and went up to the main roster, and we know what happened from there and got treated like a pile of crap. This is redemption for him. I want to see what he's going to do. He looks in fantastic shape. He's got a new look. He's got a lot to prove. Because he can cut a promo. He's one of the best promos in the business in my mind. So the thing has to be here. Knowing what the point to prove, you had to work on the in-ring work. And he had to know that. He's already had the look. He's got the look. He's got the charisma. And he can talk on the stick. He can get people invested. But in this day of age, you have to deliver now in the ring. This isn't the age anymore of, you can just sit and talk. No. This isn't the era of, I can just talk on the stick and I'm going to get by just on it. You can't do that anymore. You have to be able to be competent in the ring, and you have to deliver. It's a working era. And hopefully he can do it. Hopefully he's had a while. He's been on the shelf. And he had some concussion issues, and he got released. He was wanting out of there for the longest time. And I had heard he had signed with Impact, and I'm like, man, where's he at? And then, like, as soon as I said that, me and Daryl were texting. And then he debuted. So I thought a really, really good main event. We saw the debut of Gallows and Anderson. And it seems like they're maybe going to align with Eddie Edwards. I don't know. I think they're going to feud probably with Fulton and Austin for the time being. Establish themselves, not get into the tag title picture right away, and then go in and eventually go for the tag titles. And then you get the debut of EC3. You have your main event program set. I'm looking forward to Impact on Tuesday. And I will be watching 8 Eastern, 7 Central on Access TV. Look, I'm giving Impact plugs. But I'm very surprised. I'm very happy. It was a great night for Impact. Let's go over the show really quickly. Because then my overall thoughts on the show, it was an up and down show. It really was just like really quickly here. Let's see. Stacy, what tag team? The Good Brothers. Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, the Good Brothers, who also will be going to New Japan. That I do have confirmed. As soon as New Japan starts allowing foreigners to head back, they will be heading back to New Japan. So that will bolster the tag division there. Maybe we'll see Carl Anderson in a little more of a singles role as well. Batmobile will get... That's a cool-ass name, man. I like that. We'll get into all these in a minute, as it kind of goes where we want to go. But it was an up and down show. Like, the beginning was hot, then it kind of lagged in the middle. I thought the open was really good. I was a big fan of that. The women's title match I thought was really good. It was hard hitting. It was a lot of fun to watch. Give a lot of credit to Deonna Purrazzo and Jordan Grace. I thought that was a pretty good match. The Knockouts Gauntlet Battle Royal, really clunky in spots. Kylie Ray won to become the number one contender. I just wish I would have seen a little more with her and Taya Valkyrie in a one-on-one setting, in a one-on-one situation. But with everyone watching, I just want everyone, thank you everyone. Everyone's bouncing in and out here. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like the video. Like the video, that helps me out tremendously. So please like the video, subscribe to the Walkway to Fight Club YouTube channel. If you are watching on Facebook, just like the post, like the page, and give us a follow as well. I haven't checked in a little bit, but before I went live, we were at 998, almost like 1,000. So let's get us to 1,000. If you can get me to 1,000 tonight, that would be awesome. Tell your friends. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your husbands, tell your wives, girlfriends, boyfriends, fiancés, grandmas, grandpas, aunts, uncles, cousins, brothers, sisters. Tell your mothers, your fathers. Tell everybody. Tell your neighbor. Tell a friend. It would be greatly appreciated. Thank you, everyone, so much so far. Having a ton of fun for Impact Slammiversary 2020. But we'll start with opening, mate. The Rascals had issued an open challenge. And lo and behold, it was the former Impact World Tag Team Champions of Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. A great, another banger. Kick off the show with a bang. It was a great match. A little clunky to start. And I was like, oh no, come on. But Shelley and Sabin, that's a hell of a team. One of those teams where you talk about in the last 10 years, or even you can say 15, it's a top 20 tag team. I think legit top 20 tag team. Not just in Impact, but in wrestling. Tag team wrestling has been treated as the redheaded stepchild in the last 15 years. And finally, within the last 18 months, we're starting to get a resurgence in the tag teams. And Motor City Machine Guns, always been one of my favorites. So I was really glad to see those guys really get a good shine tonight. And I thought a really good match. Very impressed by the Rascals. Still young. It reminds me a bit of Private Party. And just the moves are there, but you just need to be a little more solid, a little more crisp. Working with guys like Shelly and Sabin are definitely going to help them out. The same thing with Private Party, working with Bucks, working with Omega and Page, working with the Lucha Bros, FTR. You're going to work with great teams, and that's going to help them out, especially with Rhino and Slater there. Good Brothers. You got the North. Impact's got some really good tag teams. Now you got Motor City Machine Guns. I think a really big coup for Impact, getting those guys back. A really good match to start the show. Motor City Machine Guns got the win. Not a surprise they got the winner. So I thought, really nice, hot way to kick off the show. I'm like, all right. I'm like, we're rocking and rolling. And then we got, let's see, as I got my notes here. And then we got, and this gets to my guy here, Batmobile. Like, man, very, very, very creative, my friend. And then we got the self-proclaimed tag team champion, TNA heavyweight champion Moose against Tommy Dreamer. In an old school rules match, which means there are no rules, more a hardcore match. And I know people rag Moose. And Moose usually has it coming. So he acts like a total idiot on social media. I love the presentation. I love the heel character. It's just too bad he was in. And I like Dreamer. And then this isn't a knock on Tommy Dreamer. I think the contributions Tommy Dreamer has made to the wrestling business is fantastic. I want to say that right there. I love him, but I don't need to see Tommy Dreamer anymore in the wrestling ring. That match was bad. Bad. Very, 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 very bad. Not a fan. Not a fan at all. It was more or less a squash. Like, I'm sitting there watching, and I'm like, yada yada. It just wasn't. You didn't get me. Even the thumbtacks, I'm like, okay, this is so 1996, 6-ish, 7-ish. I'm good. I couldn't wait till it was over. Moose got the win. Got Dreamer in the thumbtacks. Hit him with the spear. It gives a badass spear. I'll give that to Moose. Spear's badass. Stacy, we will talk about Chicagoland wrestling. Stacy, you got to tell us about Chicagoland wrestling. Got to tell me about Chicagoland wrestling. And thank you for being follow and like 999. Thank you very much. I do greatly appreciate it. But no, that match, awful. I love the Moose character. And Dreamer cut a great promo to get me excited about the match. I wanted to see Tommy Dreamer kick his ass. And then I remembered Tommy Dreamer's out of shape. And he has seen better days in the ring. And I could have done without. In my mind, the worst match on the show. By far. Let's see. Then we had Knockouts #1 contender gauntlet match. It started with Kylie Ray and Tasha Steelz. We seen Kimber Lee, Taya Valkyrie, Kiera Hogan, Alicia Edwards. We saw Havoc. We saw Rosemary, Madison Rayne. The final four came down to Kimberly, Taya Valkyrie, Rosemary, and Kylie Ray. Kylie Ray eliminated, and she hit a cutter. Eliminated Kimberly. It seemed like Valkyrie and Rosemary were back on the same page. They were beating up on poor smiling Kylie Ray. And then Rosemary hit her in Tarantula. Valkyrie was trying to eliminate Kylie Ray, but accidentally eliminated Rosemary. And then very, very, very short, Kylie Ray hit a Canadian Destroyer, and then hit the super kick for the win, and it didn't even last long. And I'm like, what? I wanted to see Taya Valkyrie and Kylie Ray go at it. I'm like, it was a very, very lackluster finish. Good to see Kylie Ray get the win. Extremely talented. And that's the right direction to go, especially with Purrazzo winning. And you kind of could sense where they were going once you had Kylie Ray win. And you kind of figured Deonna Purrazzo would get the win. You start that chase with Kylie Ray. So I thought that was very well done. So in terms of having Kylie Ray win, I thought that was the best direction for them to go. I just wish she would have been able to get more of the rub with Taya. I thought I was like, I'm like, okay. Match was a battle royal. You know, these battle royals are so hard, especially with it's like every 1 minute. I was like, they make their entrance, they're in the ring maybe 15, 20 seconds. Then it's the next person. It's like, it's like, okay. No, but good to see Kylie Ray get the win. Kylie Ray is now the number 1 contender, and she will be feuding, it appears, with Deonna Purrazzo. And then the debut of Heath. Heath Miller, formerly known as Heath Slater, just came out of nowhere. And then this is where my issues started with Impact. One is with the freaking production. Whoever is handling it, what is so hard about jacking up the mic? I teach that at the Illinois Media School. It's not hard. Pot it up. Take the board. There's a pot. Push. They had that problem more than once tonight. You got your big debut with Heath Slater. Coming in, looking jacked, got the sunglasses on, got the free agent t-shirt on that you can get at ProWrestlingTees.com. And I'm giving them a plug, and I don't know why. Nah, I like those guys. Those guys are great. But made absolutely zero sense. I was ticked off. I was pretty irritated. That's like, come on. How? You're supposed to be a major league promotion. A big night. A lot of people I know they don't ever watch Impact were watching. Can't come off like that. Very, very Bush League. And that happened more than once tonight. And that was the start. And that was pretty, to me, that was quite depressing. He wanted the vacant spot in the main event. He wanted in, and Rahit Raju. I couldn't remember his name earlier, and I found my notes. He wanted the shot before him. He attacked Miller. And then he hit her. Then Slater hit her. Then now apparently it's just Heath. That's what he was called. He wasn't called Heath Miller like he is on Twitter. It was just Heath. So hit the reverse DDT. He went off and rode into the sunset. I thought it very well done. I thought a really good promo. I like how he goes, how can you, Rock goes, how can you, Raju goes, how can you compete for a world title? You lost in seconds when you got wiped out by Drew McIntyre like 2 weeks ago. I thought that was a nice little jab. But a DDT's Miller came out strong. So I thought a very solid debut. Beyond that horrific job by the production team, not bad. Then we had the match I was looking forward to. Talking to people were like, the people's main event. Willie Mack defending the X Division title against Chris Bay. You're like, this is going to be great. A lot of people liked it. I was just like, I don't know if it was because my expectations were so high. Because I was like, it was such a great match. And I'm like, I didn't come away feeling like, man, that was awesome. I want to see it again. I think Chris Bey soon can be ready. I just don't think Chris Bey is ready yet. I would have went with Willie Mack winning and wasn't the biggest fan of this title change at all. A lot of arm drags to begin. Mack got the heat. Fall away slam, kip up, standing moonsault for a 2 count. Bey started to come back. He blocked and went for the sunset bomb. Kicked him back in the legs. Hit a slingshot, sling blade for the 2 count. Hit a big jumping uppercut, swinging net breaker for another 2. Matt came back, clothesline, spinning shoulder block, would follow a couple more clotheslines, and the running cannonball. Went for the exploder, but Bey countered into a roll-up. Matt hit the exploder into the turnbuckles for a 2 count. Mack went for the 6-star. Bey hid behind the ref. Got a super kick on Mack. Followed a drop kick to take down Mack. He caught Mack with the boot and another destroyer for a 2 count. Mack hit a weird stunner. Went for the 6-star. Bey got out of Bey. Haha, look at that pun. Got pushed into the ref. Took advantage. Raked Mack in the eyes. Hit the final finesse for the win and to win the championship. The babyface cheating to win the title. Wow. Not a big fan of the finish. Babyface winning the title by cheating. I wish they would have gotten more time. It felt rushed. They were trying to hit everything. I wish they had been able to tell a story a little bit more. Because I love Willie Mack. Really good talent. Chris Bey's still really young. This is like a match. And Daryl brings up Reign versus Peraza could be a 3 pay-per-view program. You could have done that here. And I'm like, okay. I see where you're going to, maybe you were going to do that, have Mack cheat to win, and then go forward and you have, and then, at the end, Chris Bey comes out and he comes out with the X Division title. So you go right to it, and it's like, okay, the match was short. They were playing the hits, and you had the babyface cheat to win. Not my cup of tea. And this is where I was getting so upset. I was getting irritated. And then you had that thing with Miller and Rhino with Heath and Rhino in the back. And then I thought Chris Bey was a babyface. Thank you, Nick Swink. Okay, then that finish makes plenty of sense. My sincere apologies. I thought Chris Bey was a babyface. Okay. I learned a couple things today, Nick Swink. Thank you. I'm brushing up on my impact. That is my apologies. And then the hits just kept on coming. And I don't mean in a good way. He had the North. Ethan Page, Josh Alexander facing Sami Callihan and Ken Shamrock to retain the tag titles. Ugh. I love Sami Callihan. Sami Callihan is great. Why Ken Shamrock is still wrestling at 152, I don't know. I think the North is great. These guys are fantastic. I love Ethan Page. Oozes charisma. I like Alexander. I love Sami Callihan. I can do without Ken Shamrock. Why is Ken Shamrock still wrestling? I'm trying to figure this out. And the more I tried to figure this out this evening, everybody, I gave myself a giant headache. Because I cared. And don't get me wrong, go buy Ken Shamrock's new autobiography by my man Jonathan Snowden. The book is amazing. Go to Amazon, buy the book. Or anywhere you go, Kindle, wherever you want, wherever you get your books these days. whether it's through Audible, whether it's through Amazon. The new Ken Shamrock autobiography by my man, Jonathan Snowden, is amazing. But Ken Shamrock should not still be wrestling. He looked old. He looked slow. I will give Ken Shamrock this. He looks great. If I can look like that at 152, I think I'm on to something. But Nick Swink is a smart man. I don't like giving Nick Swink too much credit. I do. I'm kidding, Nick. But no, Nick is very smart. Nick is very talented. Hopefully one day he gets the break that he should get, and got to create your break, and hopefully he does that, because I think he's definitely a huge asset to the wrestling business. Well, I lost my notes here. There's no way Ken Shamrock should be doing a tope. I'm looking like it was simple tag team. This match was like nothing too exciting. North getting up on Shamrock. They got Shamrock in the corner. Basically, then Callahan got the heat. Came in for the comeback. Desperation Stunner by Callahan. Sammy tried to get to Shamrock. Shamrock finally got in, made the babyface comeback clotheslines. A Ken Shamrock power slam at 152 is quite amazing. It's quite amazing. It's definitely a breath of fresh air. Then Callahan tagged back in. North got Callahan with a crucifix bomb for a 2 count. He managed to escape. Once again, Shamrock came in, hit a belly-to-belly to Alexander on the floor. Page takes out Callahan. Now, I thought a cool spot, Shamrock and Alexander locked into ankle locks on Page and Callahan, respectively. Submissions were broken. Callahan takes out Page. Shamrock once again locked in the ankle lock on Alexander. Page managed to toss Callahan into Shamrock. And then the trouble started for Shamrock and Callahan. He accidentally kicked Callahan, then hit a beautiful tie. Kind of gave Shamrock this a top rope belly to belly on Alexander, who rolled out Shamrock. He went for a dive, but the North moved out of the way. And then the North finished off Shamrock to retain the tag team titles. Callahan should have taken the pin. I'm not a big fan of Ken Shamrock taking the fall. I get it, you're going to protect Callahan more, but every time I see Ken Shamrock, he's getting pinned. If you're having Ken there to get pinned, if I'm Ken, I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? I don't know what he's doing there to begin with, but unless it's to get Callahan over, Callahan's already over. I just don't get. I'm just trying to rack my brain on why Ken Shamrock is still an Impact. Does he need the money that bad? I don't know. I don't know Ken's financial status these days. I just don't think he needs to be there. That's kind of where I'm hitting this brain fart of like, I don't need to see Ken Shamrock still in the ring. He's doing topes. He's doing belly to bellies off the top. It's like, what are you doing? Please stop. Please stop. I don't want to see it anymore. The match was okay. There were some spots where I was like, okay, this is cool. I can get behind this cause. And then that end was just kind of clunky, and I still think Callahan should have taken the fall, but it is what it is. I'm just not a fan of that idea. The North said, they've been champions for a year. They get no respect. They've wiped out the division. No one can touch them. They're the greatest tag team in the history of the company. And then here come the Motor City Machine Guns. And Chris Sabin says that they have been granted a title shot against the North this Tuesday on Impact. I love it. That's a great match. I feel like it's rushed like a bit, like that much. I would rather see, okay, maybe give it another week or two, build it up a little more besides just the North winning, cutting a promo, then Saban and Shelley come out and then be like, we're getting a title shot in 2 days, in 3 days. I think they kind of took away a little bit. It's cool. I would have came out, maybe they do a stare down. Maybe you save all that for Tuesday. You come back the following week. You do the match. Or you build it up a little more. Maybe doing it in a couple weeks. Get some steam out of it. It seems like they're just hot-shotting that one. Well, don't get me wrong. I think the match is going to be very good. And I think it's a logical program. Of course, you got, in my mind, one of the greatest teams in the history of Impact. So we will see. But I think the program is going to be good. I think the match is going to be very good. I wonder what they're going to do here. Do you go right to the Motor City Machine Guns? Do you have the North win and just then you build it to Gallows and Anderson? I think that's very interesting. I'm very intrigued by what... All right, hold on here. I'm very intrigued to see what they're going to do with that situation. I've done a very good interaction. The North cuts, they cut great promos. Paige and Alexander, they're great promos. And then Saban's always been a very solid promo. And then we get to the stuff, Perazo and Jordan Grace. I thought it was just hard hitting. I thought it was hard hitting. We've seen a lot of submissions, a lot of power moves. It was like a submit. We saw a submit. Perazo trying to lock in the armbar. Grace trying to use her power to overpower Perazo and get out of the armbar to win the match. I thought just really well done, and Perazo's got like this charisma I really like. And she carries herself like a star. She looks like a star. She acts like a star. You get all those intertwined together, and you really do got something there. And I think she can be a star. And I don't know what her situation was. It seemed like she was just on a per appearance deal with Impact. So I'm thinking, okay, Grace is going to win here. But like I was saying earlier, once Kylie Ray won, it was like, Perazo has to win here. I can't see a Grace Ray program. That doesn't make really, to me, a whole lot of sense. But they went with Perazo here, and I thought that the match was well done. Like I said earlier, there was a lot of submissions, a lot of power moves. Perazo, this was the best I've seen Perazo in a while. It's because of the way she was treated in WWE, and I think that was a lot to do with it. But no, job well done here. We got really good at the end. Grace hit the Grace driver. The match was already going at a really good pace, and then it seemed like it was over with the Grace driver. Perazo kicked out. She tried to powerbomb. Perazo she almost got the triangle lock. Grace had to let go. Then she had a spine buster the last second. Good exchange of strikes, some scoop slams from Grace, and some really good, nasty-looking German suplexes that I thought were very well done. Then Grace caught Perazo with a kick, hit the running knees, the diving elbow, followed with the Vader bomb for a 2 count. She went for the Grace driver again. Perazo kept blocking it, and started hitting Grace. She locked an armbar in the middle of the ring and then did the double armbar, which I've never seen before. I thought that was extremely well done. You had Jordan and Grace screaming from the top of her lungs as she gave up. And we got a new knockout women's champion. Very well done. I thought Perazo's best match to date. And we already went over the main event with Eddie Edwards pinning Ace Austin to win the 5-man elimination match with Rich Swann, Eric Young, and Trey Miguel to become a 2-time Impact Wrestling heavyweight champion. Now, the show had high expectations. And the question was, could it deliver? It was too uneven of a show. The open was good, and then the last 2 matches I thought were really good. I thought Bay and Mac, underperformed. The tag title match, The gauntlet match was just there. But those last two matches I thought were really good. The open was really good, and I liked the way they closed the show. You had the debut of Gallows and Anderson, and then you had the close with EC3. So I thought a really good promo by Heath Miller. The show, the purpose was who was going to show up. That was kind of like really what had the wrestling world talking. Impact on that, I got to give Impact and Anthem credit because they delivered. You could tell they're spending money. The question was, who were they going to bring in? We've seen it. Heath Miller, Eric Young, Gallows and Anderson, and EC3. Maybe we get more surprises on Tuesday, but now you got to look at who's going to show up on Dynamite on Wednesday. And now you have to look at it that way. Who's going to show up there? So I think very, 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 very interesting. I'm really looking forward to that Impact episode on Tuesday and Dynamite on Wednesday. Because now the question is, who's going to show up? Will we see Zack Ryder? Will we see Brian Myers, formerly Kurt Hawkins? Where's Rusev going to go? So I'm very intrigued on where some of these other guys and girls, Sarah Logan's pregnant. So you kind of got to wonder now where Mike Bennett and Maria, where are they going to go? So, you got some interesting situations here to see where some of these talents are going to go. Where's Kurt Angle going to go? Is Kurt Angle going to stay out? Is he going to go to AEW? Is he going to go back to WWE? So there's a lot of interesting things going on. So it seems like from as of today, it's Heath Miller, EC3, and Gallows and Anderson, and Eric Young. And we'll see where Rusev ends up. I think that's the biggest one of them all. I always thought it was. Stacy, yes. Tessa Blanchard was with Impact in that whole situation. And they stripped her of the title. And that's why the title was vacant leading into this match. And it seems like she will be heading to WWE. So that is the latest on Tessa Blanchard. It does seem like WWE. From what I've been told, it seems like Tony Khan has interest, but Tony Khan is also very leery because of Tessa Blanchard's attitude. And I've said this before about Tony Khan. There's going to have to become a point where Tony Khan's just going to have to make a move. She is a generational talent. And I've said that. Maybe I'm wrong. But I think Tessa Blanchard is to me, if you're looking at the best female talent in the world right now in the United States, I think it's Io Shirai, Asuka, Kairi Sane, and then I think Tessa Blanchard's right there. And then you got Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, Bayley, and the whole kit banging caboodle. She's a hell of a talent. I think she's exceptional. She can talk on the mic. She's great in the ring. Her attitude has always been the biggest issue. So we're going to see where Tessa Blanchard ends up. But we will see. Let's get to these Impact questions, and we'll do really quickly. We'll talk about Extreme Rules, and then we'll talk about UFC. All right. Adam Michaels. I can't say that I ordered the Impact pay-per-view as I don't have access, but have heard good things. Looking forward to the recap. Well, thank you. I really, really appreciate it. Adam, again, Impact had a chance to put themselves on the landscape of wrestling, but I'm disappointed in the surprise. A lot of people were... You're not the only one that was pretty ticked off about those surprises in the main event. I don't get why you didn't have... I don't want to knock Eric Young or Rich Swann because I think they're really good in the ring. I think Eric Young is a really solid hand, even at this stage of the game. Just one of these things, though, to where you have to make... Why put them in that spot? Why not put Carl Anderson in the match? could have gone with Carl Anderson and Eric Young, and I would have been okay. But maybe they don't want Anderson to take a pin yet. That's about the only reasoning I could really have on that one. Adam Michaels takes it back. I take back my previous comments. I'm good. Have to find out how to watch Impact. Love EC3. Access TV every Tuesday, 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Daryl, good to hear from you. I have to watch it, but based on results, I give it a C+, almost B-. It's a C+ show. I wouldn't. The main event almost bumps it up to a B- in my eyes. Because the main event was really good. I'll have to admit that. Stacy Sparkles Rowland. I met Kylie Toy. She's the nicest and talented. Kylie Ray is one of the nicest people you will ever meet. I met her. This was before Bound for Glory. And she was at an Impact Plus show. It was at 115 Bourbon Street. Couldn't have been. And it was a night off for me. We were supposed to chat, and she hadn't done interviews yet because she was still going through. She had just returned to the ring. She hadn't been back too long. And she was still very leery about doing interviews. And me and her talked a little bit, and she was like, I don't know. And so I got to the show. I talked to her for a little bit. And she's like, it's not you. She's like, I just feel like I'm still feeling like she was still really had that anxiety about wanting to talk, which I was cool with. And I told her we'd reconnect down the road, and she was cool with that. And it was a great show. I had a ton of fun. Let's see. Nick Swink. The only match I thought was bad was the Gauntlet match. And I don't want to hate on the show. There's a couple. It was some really things. Maybe I'm getting too nitpicky as I get older, but. No, the Gauntlet match was just. I just would love to see Kylie Ray and Taya Valkyrie go a little more. I wanted to see him go. Not just, I seen a destroyer, super kick. Well, I don't even think it lasted 3 minutes. So that was disappointing. And then Stacy Sparkles Rowland, I'm sorry, never was a fan of her regarding Tessa Blanchard. Tessa's not everyone's cup of tea. She's really not. I get it. Not everyone's going to feel the same way about people. And I more than get that. But let's do a real quick UFC recap here. Devison Figueroa. We defeated proved the first time around was no fluke as he pummeled Joseph Benavidez. And I just lost mine. Give me 1 second. I apologize. Yeah, Devison Figueroa blasted through. Just absolutely blasted through Joseph Benavidez, winning by first round submission via rear naked choke to win the vacant UFC Flyweight Championship, the 4:48 mark of the first round. I was watching this on a split screen. No, not a split screen. I was watching it on my tablet, and then I was watching the Impact show. And, my God, Figueiredo is a stud. And it was the third of four shows on Fight Island. And you could tell, like, when they were in the octagon, you can just tell Figueiredo was the bigger man than Benavidez. Just had 3 early rear naked choke attempts, knocked him down 3 other times off his punches. And then the final knockdown was a beautiful, oh my God, it was a vicious right hand. Dropped Benavidez. Figueiredo went right at him, landed a couple right elbows, snatched the back, secured the rear naked choke to become the flyweight champion. Tons and tons of emotions. Congratulations to Davison Figueiredo. I give him a ton of credit because he had COVID-19, tested positive, and then it's like, oh crap, the fight's gonna be off. It's a false positive. Thankfully, for his sake, was able to get to Abu Dhabi. Only he had to quarantine, take more COVID-19 tests, somehow made weight, made 125 right on the nose, and then went in and blasted through Benavidez. This is one of those situations to where if that fight gets out of the first round, man, I think Joseph Benavidez has a great shot at winning. Just has a great shot to win. And it's just one of those things with him. Because now you look at Benavidez, he's 0-5. He's done. He will no longer fight for a world championship. Joseph Benavidez is done as a getting any more title shots. 5 title shots. It's like Uriah Faber. At least Uriah Faber was a WEC Featherweight Champion. Joseph Benavidez has never won a world title. I love Joe. Joe was great. Great interview. He's a great guy. He's a great fighter. I feel so bad for Joe. I do. Because now he's in no man's land. He's in purgatory. No, you've had 2 shots of Figueiredo. You've lost twice. So that option's done. I think he's too small for bantamweight. And he's SOL here. And that's quite unfortunate because he's one of the nicest guys you will ever meet in anything, whether it's MMA, boxing, or pro wrestling. All right, let's get really quickly. We will end with this. We will really quickly just give a very tiny sneak peek tomorrow at the WWE show. Oh, I thought I had the card here in my hand. Oh, WWE. Let's see. I do apologize. The Extreme Rules is tomorrow night, the horror show, known as Horror Show Extreme Rules, but I don't even understand what in the hell is going on there. The horror show at Extreme Rules will take place tomorrow night at the Performance Center. You have Drew McIntyre defending the WWE Championship against Dolph Ziggler. And in a non-title, I want to make sure I get the name of this match right, because it is a non-title match. The Wyatt Swamp match. So, a Wyatt Swamp match. You have Universal Champion Braun Strowman taking on Bray Wyatt. Now, I'm trying to understand why this isn't a title match. I don't get it. The more I try to figure this company out, the more I'm just trying to want to run my head like right into the damn wall. Let's see. I go on WWE.com and the first thing I see is Baron Corbin. And a great match, by the way, with Matt Riddle and AJ Styles. Now we're going to get a program with Matt Riddle and Baron Corbin. I want to cry. I feel bad for Matt Riddle. Because now he is stuck. Absolutely stuck with a guy who is who's at times can be highly entertaining on the mic, but very, very bad in the ring. All right, Wyatt Swamp Fight non-title match. Braun Strowman against Bray Wyatt. WWE Championship match. Drew McIntyre against Dolph Ziggler. The Raw Women's title. Asuka and Sasha Banks. The SmackDown Women's title. Bayley against Nikki Cross. The great eye for an eye match. Seth Rollins against Rey Mysterio. United States title match. Apollo Crews defending against MVP. In a SmackDown Tag Team Championship match, which is a tables match. The New Day defends against Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro. A show you can miss. I'm looking forward to Asuka and Banks. I think that's going to be great. McIntyre and Ziggler is going to be good. The match is going to be just fine. But what's the step? I don't know. Dolph Ziggler's on. This was a stat I saw today, and it's true. Dolph Ziggler's won one match in 2020. And Dolph Ziggler is wrestling in the high-stakes match for the WWE Championship. Think about that hot mess for a second. All you got to do in WWE is win one match, and we're nearly 7 months into 2020. And you can get a world title match. Think about that hot crap. Isn't that pretty sad? Utterly pathetic. That's WWE wonders why their ratings are down. There's less interest in their product. And this isn't a knock on Ziggler. I think Dolph's great in the ring. Drew's great as well. The match is going to be great. But I already know the result. Why watch? What is the point of me watching that match? Why am I watching Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt in a non-title match? Because they're going to fight in a swamp? Why isn't the belt on the line? Let's use some common sense. Why isn't the belt on the line? But Asuka Banks, I think that's going to be very good. If that isn't very good, that should be the best match on the show. This eye for an eye nonsense. Maybe this is a way to write off Ray. Ray's working without a contract. They haven't. When I asked the other day, they had still not agreed to a deal. So we will see about that. And Apollo Crews and MVP, yeah, okay. You get to see the new U.S. title, which I think looked pretty dapper. And I think that was pretty cool. So it is what it is. And we will end with that, actually, because there is nothing else really going on. I want to really quickly, I will have a podcast will be done tomorrow night for the WWE's the horror show. I want to make sure the horror show at Extreme Rules. Show begins at 7 Eastern. 6 Central, and 4 Pacific. So hopefully this show is only like 3 hours. If I have to see a WWE show go 4 hours, that's what I liked. The one thing I liked about the Impact show tonight, the show was done in 2 hours and 55 minutes. If every pay-per-view can go in 2 hours and 55 minutes, I would be ecstatic. I think that would be great. But let's not count our chickens before they hatch. If this show ends in under 3.5 hours tomorrow, if it's done by 9:30 Central Time, I will be a kid in the candy store. If not, I'm going to be pretty pissed off. No, I won't be pissed off. I'm just kidding. But it'll be a little disappointing considering this show isn't really very good. But for everyone that watched, if you watched on YouTube and you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the page, subscribe to the channel, like the video. That will help me out tremendously. Thank you so much for doing that. If you watching on Facebook, like the post, like the page, follow the page. I think we're at $9.99 thanks to Stacy Sparkles Rolling. So thank you, Stacy, so much for liking the page. Also, follow the podcast on Twitter at Walkway Fight. Follow on Instagram, the Walkway to Fight Club, all in lowercase letters. So definitely do that. You can follow me on Twitter at Muehlhausen JR. S, take out the even. It's Muehlhausen JR. You can also, if you came in a little bit late to the game, the podcast will be uploaded tomorrow. It will be on all your favorite podcasting platforms, except Stitcher, because they suck. So it'll be on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and all the 500,000 podcasting platforms there still currently are right now, which is boggles my mind. It's great for me and great for everybody. So we thank you everyone so much. Thank you to everyone who watched tonight. It was a lot of fun. I will see you tomorrow night as we will be recapping WWE Extreme Rules.